Hello and welcome to another edition of Capital Area Chats. I'm your host, Paul Brogan, and we're about all things in the greater Concord area. The people, the places, and the things that make this an extraordinary place to live, to work, and to play. Today is someone who makes everything fun and about play, as well as being an incredibly hard worker and focused human being. Tori Berube is the program manager for OLLI, Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at UNH, but it's here in Concord, as well as in Manchester, Conway, and on the Seacoast. And she'll correct me if there's any other places, but welcome to the show, Tori.
Thank you for having me, Paul. It's nice to see you.
It's really always a delight to see you, and it's even nicer to see you here today
Yeah.
because we're going to talk about something that matters to both of us.
Yeah, and we're in your house instead of at my house.
That's your
right.
house.
Yeah.
Although I'm looking forward to being in your house down in Manchester in just
And
a
here.
few weeks.
Yeah, very
And
soon.
It is. Where did it go?
I
It
know.
seems like
Winter has come and gone almost.
knock on wood, and we will hope that that's true. Because I heard from my class assistant in Manchester the other day. Jane sent me a email to tell me how lucky I was to have her again, and
Yes.
I agree.
Yes, she is.
Because I think you certainly understand how important the volunteers are that are at the heart and soul of what makes the OLLI program truly extraordinary.
We are very fortunate. So OLLI is a volunteer-driven, member-driven organization with a few of us that support the organization as staff. But it's our volunteers who select our curriculum and the courses that we offer, work with presenters such as yourself. They're the ones who help manage the classroom activities for us, or plan trips, or lead special interest groups that we have all across the state. So our members are the ones who really make OLLI run.
They truly do.
We like to say we thrive because of our volunteers.
It's so true. I mean,
Yeah.
it really, there's an energy around, I know just from my experience, the classes that I presented, the energy in the room from everyone. I mean, there's both a sense of anticipation and optimism and just a delight in being there to possibly discover something they might not have ever known before,
Right.
or finding a new field of interest which
Yeah.
they may discover.
Well, our members are all age 50 or over. So they are coming to us to learn just for the fun of it. So there's no tests, no quizzes, none of that. They come because they'd like to learn more about a topic that they might not have heard from, learned enough about in high school or in college, or while they were working, they didn't have the time to really focus on something that's a passion for them.
Yes.
And they pick up our catalog and they see we're offering a course on Cary Grant, for instance. And they say, I have always loved Cary Grant movies. Or I'm watching the new miniseries or the book, I think it's a miniseries called Archie that's coming out.
Yes.
And they say, you know what? I would like to go out. I think I'd like to take that course. And when they come to one of our courses, they're meeting other people who have an interest in Cary Grant.
Yes.
They are expanding and learning something new. They are enjoying themselves in a social setting.
True.
And they are really improving. I like to think they're improving their emotional and physical health.
Yes.
Because some of our members, we might be the connection that they have every day
True.
to being outside and being with others. So
Yes.
we really look at it from a holistic view, that we are not only providing a learning opportunity, but we provide that social connection, that mental stimulation. They go home and they say, you know, one of our courses that we teach is a math course, and that would scare me to death. But when they come to class and they go home and they say, let me think about that problem. And what was he teaching? And then they get it. So we love that in our members.
True. And the math presenter is amazing. He
Yeah.
is just incredible. I mean, I keep thinking someday I'm going to actually take one of those, because when I've seen him at previews, he makes it so intriguing and interesting, and it's suddenly not just math. It's something else that's very vital.
He has a great way of presenting the data that's not scary, or the content that's not scary or intimidating. His name is Bill Faulkner.
Yes.
And folks know him all over. And he's doing a course this term in Concord, and he's doing one in Manchester. And then this time we actually have a presenter on the Seacoast who's doing a class on the math behind card tricks, playing card tricks.
Wow.
Which is kind of fun.
It is.
Right? Like now you learn a new party trick or something to dazzle your grandchildren with when they come to see you.
So true. I mean, it's the diversity of the offerings is, and I would urge viewers to check out the website, because the catalog for the spring is on there. And you can spend an hour just going through and reading the descriptions of each of those offerings throughout the state. And another thing I've noticed, the 12 years since I've been involved, the friendships that are forged between the members who will meet at a class that they're both attending and find out, oh my goodness, you know, we have so much in common once they start to talk. And then from then on, at the classes I would do, the two of them would be there front and center.
They absolutely do that. They will check in with each other and say, when course registration opens or before that, they will check in and say, all right, I have my catalog, 170 courses, and here are the 4 that I think that we should do.
Yes, yes.
And they sign up together, they come together, they laugh, and they remember what they did for other classes. And many of them, that is their friendship. They enjoy coming together, going out to breakfast, or maybe getting a cup of coffee after class and catching up. Or it leads to them doing things outside of our OLLI classroom together. But it's a wonderful way to form friendships for a population that perhaps forming friendships is not as easy or convenient as it was
when you were younger.
When you were younger,
Yes,
exactly.
It is. It really is. Because I run into people all the time, like at Market Basket, who I know from classes, and they're both there together doing their grocery shopping. And they'll say, hey, what are you going to be doing next time? Or, you know, something like that. Currently, registration is open for the spring classes. Is that correct?
So registration is open for our spring courses, and our term for the spring opens on February 19th.
Okay.
And it closes, the term ends the middle of June.
Okay.
So there are 170 courses offered in Conway, in Portsmouth, in Manchester, here in Concord, or online. So here in Concord, we hold our courses at NHTI.
Yes.
And also at the Citywide Community Center up on Canterbury Road, depending on the size of the course or the type of course. And a lot of our courses here in the Capital Region are out in the community. So one course this term that you would see us in the community for, Virginia Drew, at the State House. Is doing a white State House primer, and folks will go to the State House and walk the halls of the State House, see the legislature in action. Last term, we did a course at the Granite State Candy Shop production facility. So not only are our classes in a typical classroom, they're out in the community.
Well, you've
So
done classes here at ConcordTV.
we actually have a
Yes.
course being offered
Yes.
here this term where folks can come and build their video production skills
Mm-hmm.
with Josh Hardy.
Yes.
And folks love that class.
Yes. That hands-on kind of thing.
They come in and they are going to produce their own
Own
video. So I think it's a
Yes.
3-week course.
Uh-huh.
And Josh and his team here
Yes.
teach folks how to use the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, you have your own finished product.
Uh-huh. And I know they've offered them City Auditorium, the
Yes.
Friends of the Audio. I think Carol Bagan is behind that, and they've done them in the past at the Bank of New Hampshire stage and the Capitol
We
Center.
have. And
as-
we take, last term, we actually took, one of the other classes we did was out for the community players
Yes.
at their new
Studio.
facility out on
Yes.
Josiah Bartlett.
Yes.
And so they got to go and see the facility, and it was when they were preparing for Sound of Music. And then they came to dress rehearsal for the Sound of Music and saw it at the Audi.
At the Audi.
So it was just a really, OLLI is everywhere.
It is.
It is not just a classroom activity. And because of COVID, we did pivot and started offering Zoom courses. And many of our members found that is
That
convenient
works
for me.
at home. Yes,
And
exactly.
you know, I might like to do a blend where maybe I am doing 3 or 4 courses in person.
Yes.
But you know, that class on 6:30 on a Tuesday night,
Yeah.
I think I might like to do that one in my slippers
Yes,
at home.
exactly.
And they can.
Yes, nice. That's the great thing, because OLLI has evolved so much just in the 12 years that I've been affiliated with it as a presenter, because they've been very open to suggestions from the members as to what the members want.
There's at the end of every course, we do an evaluation process, and we ask the registrants for a class to tell us what did they like, and more importantly, what other courses would you like to see? And that gives us a great start to go out and find those courses and bring them to our members. So we're actually now planning for our fall 2024 courses already, and we haven't even started this term, but we go back and look and see, what did people tell us they'd like to learn about? And we know all of our members, not just here in the Capital Region, but our members love history courses.
Yes.
They love political science courses. They like art classes, whether it be film or literature or creative arts. They love those types of courses. They love to get out and about. So their feedback through that process
Very
really drives how we plan our future courses. Very important.
And all of this information, including about becoming a member, viewers can find on the website, which we
can.
will provide that information. And also to be a presenter, if someone has a talent or a skill and they want to maybe offer their interest to other, which is how it started with me. Somebody, Joan Davis, who used to be affiliated with it, my mom was taking classes, and Joan said, asked a question about me, and my mom said, oh, he loves movies and film and those things. And Joan said, well, have him contact me and let's see, you know, whether we can channel that into something that people might enjoy. And it's amazing how something you think, oh, nobody's going to be interested, actually there may be dozens of people just waiting for a particular topic to be offered and made available.
So we know from when you teach a course, when you present,
Yes.
you have a loyal following, right?
Yes, the groupies.
The groupies, right? The Brogan groupies.
Yes.
Because they love that genre. They
Yes.
love whether it be musicals, whether it be the presenter coming in and, like you, being able to add that piece besides just watching the movie,
Yes,
our
exactly.
presenters bring the information or the stories
Yes, the
behind
backstory,
the
yes.
curriculum that they're teaching. So it's not just coming to watch, in your
movie,
case,
right.
Cary Grant
Or Katharine Hepburn.
or Katharine Hepburn,
something like
but
that.
you're able to filter in stories and sprinkle in stories that you know about that topic. And it's always interesting when sometimes when you're in class, someone will raise their hand and they have another connection
Yes.
that our presenter
Yes.
doesn't have.
Yes.
And it's really fun to watch them light up when they are able to contribute
Yes.
something to the class that adds. So a great example is one of our most popular presenters is a gentleman named Dave Hess. And Dave leads courses right now for us all around the presidential primaries. And last week we had an opportunity for a lunch and learn where folks brought their lunch and we provided dessert. And Dave sort of quarterbacked what's happening in the first couple of weeks of the presidential primaries
Yes.
and the caucuses
Yes.
and what he sees happening in the next couple of weeks. And the intellect that our members bring and the questions that they have or the thoughts that they have, or they say, you know, in this case or back in this election. And it's wonderful to see that exchange and the correlation
Yes.
and the recollection and the input that they bring to our courses.
And it's so civilized, the discourse. You know, it's everyone's opinion or thoughts are welcomed and appreciated by, you know, everyone who attends.
And
It's just-
valued, right? I
Yes,
mean, it just,
yes.
it makes for a better conversation. It makes for a better course. Absolutely.
It does. It does. Now, you're relatively new to OLLI. You've been here now
About 2.5
only
years.
2.5. Okay.
Yeah.
But you love it.
I do. I do. My background was higher education before I came to OLLI, and now this is just a different extension of that. But the idea of learning
Yes.
and pursuing a passion
Yes.
about something that someone wants to learn about, I love it. I love it. I love seeing the course proposals come in, seeing the courses selected,
Yes.
promoting the courses, meeting our members when they come to course, and to work with our presenters like you,
Yes.
who are just so giving of their time and their talent and their expertise. It really makes for a very short work day.
Well, it's wonderful when I see, you know, people after 50 don't have the attitude, well, I've learned everything I want to learn in my life. I don't want to fill my brain with new things. Show up in mass and thrive on learning new things and filling in, you know, gaps that they may have never thought about in their life. I know my friend Peg Fargo, the classes that she does, and I hear the stories from people about they come away from there. I was fortunate to work with Peg in a class, which I'm hoping we'll do again someday. But she is like so many of the presenters, just makes you want to know more and makes you sit there just enthralled at what she's saying. And again, there's so many other presenters that are exactly like that in making people feel so alive and important, sitting there, you know, learning and being a part of that.
We have a woman who was a librarian professionally. Many of our members were former educators or librarians,
Yes.
which is kind of interesting. And one of them does a series of history courses for us on revolutionary, Civil War kind of topics. Her classes are always full, and it's not as though she is an expert in it herself, though I think she is, but the amount of effort that they put into these courses
Yes.
as presenters to prepare
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to accurately describe and inform on a variety of sides
Exactly.
is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And this woman in particular, her name is Eleanor Strang.
Oh, yes.
And she's teaching here in Concord this term,
Mm.
and she is doing a course here on Lewis Hayden,
Okay.
very active in the Underground Railroad.
Yes.
And she, people clamor for her classes, and she comes and just, it's this amount of information that she shares that so much thought and preparation goes into it. They're amazing courses.
Yes, yes. And I think, I can't think of a presenter that I know personally that doesn't, really, you don't just sleepwalk through it as a presenter. It is so important that you believe to the core of your being and understand your topic to be able to make other people feel the same way. Because the members are very savvy. They know if you're not giving everything to that course.
One of the courses that we offer, and we've offered it in Manchester, and again this term it'll be in Manchester, but very close to Concord, is called Civics Slam. And it's with an instructor who retired as a teacher from Milford High School. And I have never heard more laughter come from a classroom because the way that he presents civics makes our members think this is fun.
Yes.
And they have great discussions, and people think, I never learned that in my civics course.
No, in school.
And this
Yes.
is fun. And they talk about it. They bring, everybody shares. He asks great questions of them
Yes.
to facilitate them thinking the question through, which then always spins off to somebody who says, but what about? And the conversation and the laughter and the camaraderie in that class is magnificent.
Yes.
And he's able to direct and channel that conversation. It's a 4-week class, and I think it's 2 hours each week, and it flies by in about a minute and a half because they're so engaged, and it's something that they thought, I don't know, civics.
Right.
And they get in there and they think, this is just cool.
Yeah, the perception so many of us of a certain era have of civics is that it's very dry and something you forced yourself to stay awake in school while you do what you were going to do after school. And to be able to make it vital and alive and bring humor to it is a real gift to be able to
And he reads founding documents. When's the last time that you looked at any of the country's founding documents and found something in there that you were like, I never knew that?
Yeah. Yes.
Or isn't that a funny way of saying that? And to talk about it. So we're very fortunate with our
great.
presenters. They are top notch.
That's wonderful.
Like you.
Oh, stop. The check's in the mail.
Thanks.
The catalog you brought with
Yes,
you.
yes.
And this is the catalog for the spring classes. This is available to read online. And I would urge, you don't have to be a member to be able to access it online, but I would urge anyone to go and just read through it. I mean, here's a class in Manchester, What You Never Knew About Manchester's Diner, The Red Arrow. I mean, things, that's so...
Now, that is a great class. I'm glad you mentioned it.
Yes.
Mike Morin, who's a local radio personality.
Yes, I know Mike.
Right?
Yes.
He wrote a book on the Red Arrow,
Uh-huh.
and he is doing a course for us. And last week, when registrations opened, his class filled up in about a minute and a half.
Wow.
So we went back to him and said, you've got a really popular course. Would you like to do a second one for us?
Yes.
Open it up to more people. So we're offering his current course that you see in the catalog
Yes.
is closed, but he's added a date in May.
Wow.
And so we are, you know, I think he's bribing them with the world famous Twinkies
Yes.
from the
Oh,
Red
I'm
Arrow.
sure. I'm
but
sure.
that's okay. But you've got a Red Arrow diner here
Yes,
in Concord.
But this
And
is the
a
original one,
yeah,
and it's
a
worth
fabulous history.
it. Real, and the one below it, Women Empowering Women: A History of Women's Clubs in New Hampshire at the Chamberlain House, where my first piano recital at the age of 6 was held. My mom used to have her piano recitals at the Chamberlain House.
Are you kidding?
And the history in that building. Yes, the Concord Women's Club was and remains to be a very vital part
Yes.
of the community. But
Yeah.
to go into the Chamberlain House, the history in that building, and you know, to be able to find out, you know, that history. And that's just two of the things looking through here.
Well, here's a piece of trivia for you.
Yes.
Go to the cover
Okay.
and tell me where that picture was taken.
White's Park.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's the bridge
Yes.
at White Park.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except White's Park to those of us that grew up in the
Oh,
neighborhood.
technically, yeah, right.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely.
And that cover shot is a lot of the
Yes.
members that we've talked
I
about
know.
today.
I can
So-
name them, starting with Jackie Fogarty over
Yes,
here.
yes.
So it's and Jackie does the newsletter, and which is just wonderful.
Our members are involved in so many ways.
So many ways.
So they help write our newsletter. They serve as class assistants, as you mentioned. We have online classes that we talked about, and they serve as our Zoom moderators. They might serve on a committee. Peg Fargo serves on many of our committees.
Yes,
But
God
one of
love
her
her.
favorite things she likes to do is she leads our travel committee. So
Yes.
this term, we'll be loading up a bus and taking people to Boston to the JFK Museum
Yes.
and the Edward Kennedy.
Yes. Yeah.
It's where it's set up
Yes.
as the Senate.
Yes.
The
Yes.
school.
Yes.
So, but our members contribute in so many ways beyond being in a course.
Yes, exactly.
They really do make our organization thrive.
And there are book clubs, and there's, you know, movie
clubs.
and,
Marty Bender.
I mean, just about
Yeah,
everything.
Marty Bender leads our movie club.
Yes.
We have 3 book clubs. We have up in Conway, we have a club of candlepin bowlers. There's always something to do
There
within the
is.
OLLI structure.
And if someone joins, they have they can attend a class at any of the locations.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
You are not limited to the community that you're in. You can, if you want to, in the fall, take a drive up to Conway and see the foliage and take a class. You know, it is certainly an option to be able to do.
We have a woman out on the seacoast who's a professional chef.
Uh-huh.
Well, she's not a professional chef, but let's say she's really good.
Yes.
And she said, I'd like to do a class, and it's called Kitchen Chemistry. And we have people from all over the state who are driving to Portsmouth the day of that class to participate in it.
Yes.
So
yes.
a great example of
it's,
people traveling anywhere.
Well, I dare anyone to read the catalog online and not be salivating over the offerings and giving OLLI a try, even for just a year, to really, you can take a class even if you're not a member, correct?
Correct. Yep.
But being a member makes it more affordable. You do.
It's an annual membership
Yes.
of $40,
Yes.
and then
Esteem.
a per
Yes. Per class.
a per class fee.
Yes.
We invite our members to bring a guest to class and let the guest
Test
try
it.
out. Yep.
Yes.
Give us
Test the waters.
a test drive. Yep.
Yep.
And then we do, for members who might need assistance, we offer scholarships for just our membership piece. And so those are available. And then those members would pay for their courses separately. But there are We do about 170 courses each term, and we have two terms a year. So some of those courses are repeated from term to term.
In a different location or something, yes.
Each term, I would venture to guess that 2/3 of our courses are new. Or they're ones that we haven't offered for a couple of years, so that everybody who's a new member gets the opportunity to take that class.
All right. Tori Berube, you are amazing, as is OLLI at University of New Hampshire. Please go online, check out everything there is to know about OLLI, check out the catalog, give it a try. You will not regret it. I mean, I keep coming back because it is one of the most amazing programs in our area, and something for everyone. And someday I'm going to try some of these classes that, you know, I haven't had a chance to.
So we didn't talk about your two classes, but you're doing Cary Grant in
Down
Manchester.
in Manchester.
And here in Concord, you're doing?
It's a course on Doris Day, but it's non-sophisticated comedies that she was known for with Rock and Cary Grant and James Garner. It's films that are out of the ordinary, a suspense thriller, Midnight Lace with Rex Harrison, a Hitchcock film, you know, things that are a little off the norm.
That's great.
Anyway. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today. This has been fun.
It's been great.
And I'll get to have you back again before the fall course.
Terrific.
So we can talk some more about OLLI at UNH. So thank you, Tori.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you, all of you. Thank you, Matt, behind the scenes, and everyone here at ConcordTV. Thank you for all of you who take the time to drop a line and say you enjoy it. And thank you for the hundreds who check out my show on YouTube. This one will be up on YouTube before you know it. So thank you again. On behalf of Capital Area Chats, I'm your host, Paul Brogan. Thank you.